you're sitting under a tree in a park. What made you sit leaning against a tree, under a tree, instead of out in the sunshine?
Well, that's an easy one because I'm on an antibiotics course, which is making me temporarily very sensitive to the sun. So sitting in the shade is the ideal option.
So this is a health choice.
Yeah. I'd much rather be in the sun, don't get me wrong.
And you were reading a magazine. Is this downtime for you? Are you on an unwind, or are you trying to study and improve yourself?
Yeah, definitely unwind. I came back from holiday this morning. So I'm a little
wow.
bit, yeah. Early flight. I got into London like about 7 a.m. It's probably about 11:30 now. So I'm trying to not sleep. So yeah, this is recreational. I'm not sure how much of it is going in.
So you're basically trying to push through to try and reset yourself.
100%, yeah, 100%. That's what's going on here.
Okay, so the antibiotics and the being in a different country on holiday must be connected.
Mildly, it's bad timing. I was away in Scotland about a month ago, and randomly got Lyme's disease, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So I've been on a course of antibiotics, which has made me sensitive to the sun, which isn't ideal. Especially given I was in Turkey this week just gone by. So,
oh my goodness.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a strange month, or a strange couple of weeks. But I mean, I'm largely better now. I don't think it's too serious. But yeah, my brain's a bit of a cocktail of lack of sleep and meds.
And what was the holiday in Turkey about? Was it kind of like, I'm going to go from A to B and spend a week doing it? Were you sitting on a beach? What kind of holiday did you make for yourself?
Yeah. So it was me and like a group of friends. We kind of go away together quite regularly, like usually each year. And this year we're going to Turkey, so we spent like a few days, like 4 or 5 days in Istanbul, and then we went down south to an area called like Fethiye, which is kind of a bit more near the coast. So we kind of did like a bit of the kind of culture and history in Istanbul, and then kind of chilled and did a bit of mountain trekking and whatever in the south. So it's great. It's a great mix.
Sounds great. And if it's a regular friends meetup, that sounds like a really nice friendship. That sounds like old friends.
Yeah. It's an old friends. So it's like there's an original core group of like me and some uni friends. We've kind of like picked up extra people. So there's only 6 of us, but now got like my housemates involved, and we've got another friend involved. So it's really, really, really nice actually.
And what is the draw for a friend's holiday versus like a big group holiday? Is it kind of about the friendship, or is it kind of about just being in a different place?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you could just meet up in the pub once a year.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I think there's like, I think there's an added intensity when you go away and live with each other properly. You know, like I think the pub's nice, and don't get me wrong, I hang out with all these people in the pub quite regularly, but when you like live with people for a week, even if it's just on holiday, it's just great fun, better chats, time for, I don't know, extended conversations, more meals together. It's kind of like, it's almost like a year's worth of friendship progress in about a week. So it's good fun. Although that being said, it is intense, I think. I think we'll have a little break from each other now.
That's a really nice way of describing it, a year's worth of friendship. I've got a kind of vague theory that if you do the same things with the same people on a regular basis, you're kind of not developing the friendship further or the interaction further. You have to kind of do something new to take it onto the next level, and it sounds like what you're doing does that with this friendship. It deepens it every time you do this because it's an added layer of experience.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree with your theory. I think that makes sense. Like, the greater variety or the greater diversity of like activities you do, or maybe the intensity as well, leads to deeper friendships. I think that's definitely true, and it's a nice way to invite people into that and have. So we had a couple new people kind of join this holiday this year, and like to have them join is kind of nice because it's like extending a hand of deeper friendship, I suppose. So yeah, I'm on board with that.
On this once a year thing, is there always someone who's the organiser? Do you always all rely on someone to go, right, be here at this time and everything will go smoothly, I've hired the car? Or do you all take a little bit of responsibility on what's going on?
Yeah, so I think there are definitely people with unofficial roles of organising. I think...
There always are.
There always are. I actually think... So I've got a theory on this, which is that you've got, with like holidays and stuff, you've got the organisers, and they view the holiday as, there are people who organise it and make it happen, and then people that are passive. and they think they're doing a service, and it's great. And the people who are being passive are just getting free rides. But I think the people who are passive, they view it as there's people who do what they want to do and make the plans all around them, and there are people that are easygoing that allow the people who want what they want to happen to do it. And they think they're doing a service by being laid back and chilled and allowing those organisers to do their thing. So everyone thinks they're doing each other a favour.
And they probably are. Because if you had a group of 8 people and they were all organisers, it might get a bit fraught.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't work at all. But yeah, no, we do. And to be honest, like a service to this couple, like I'm not one of the organisers, I'd say. So I've got to.
Right.
Like,
so you're the kind of like, yeah, what are we doing today? I'll be happy to go up a mountain or sit on the beach or go to a museum.
Yeah, I think probably I'm a bit guilty of that. I think largely what I push for is kind of like I like to go out in the mountains. I like to do a lot of the trekking and the hiking. And I think most other people prefer the chilled activities. So I kind of feel like I'm doing everyone a favour by just, I'll do what you guys want to do. I'll do the chilled things. Because I think if I got my way, if I did my organising, everyone would be miserable.
And in terms of the high points from this holiday, are there a couple of moments when it just felt brilliant, like everyone was having a good time and you were hitting the sweet spot?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely some big highlights. So on our kind of penultimate night, we did a bit of a barbecue, and it was kind of like a bit late in the day, a bit impromptu. And I feel like that was probably a meal I took responsibility for. So I got all the coals ready, got that all going, and like got the equipment for the barbecue, and like marinated the aubergines and prepared some of the dishes, and ended up going like I thought really well. And so it's really nice to be able to like, do something nice for people, cook them a nice meal.
It's a kind of giving thing doing that,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
Because you're providing.
Exactly. It's like about time I pulled my weight if I'm not doing any of the organising, So
well, a meal and a holiday is a pretty good result.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. So that was one big highlight. And then we also did this amazing walk, again, kind of impromptu. And this is actually something I organised, which was there's like this. It's called like the Lycian Way, and it kind of goes along some of the mountains at the south near Fethiye, and that was just unbelievable views, like actually unbelievable. And we only kind of did it on a whim, so I'm so glad we didn't miss that.
It's nice. When you're on these kind of holidays, do you resist the temptation to pull out the phone and record everything? Do you want to kind of go, I want to be in the moment, I want this just to be as it is and not try and record it in a digital way? Or are you someone who's always happy to pull out and snap and record?
Oh no, I'm actually infamously bad on my phone. I'm so I think I took 4 photos in total, no videos.
That's great.
That's what I did.
That sounds like being infamously good, not infamously bad, in terms of like not being a digital slave.
No, actually, do you know what? It's funny enough, we had a lot of conversations about this because one of my friends who was there, who's Turkish himself, is the reason we went on the trip. He is reading a book called something like Digital Minimalism or something at the minute. So he's reading about it, trying to get off his phone and stuff. So there was quite a lot of conversations about that. But we kind of got around the whole photo thing because one of my other friends who was there, she's really good with the film camera. So you can rely on that for like some nice.
So she would make it stylish.
She'd make it look
She
stylish.
took the right kind of shots.
Yeah, so she's the creative amongst us. So she took the good photos, and we can kind of rest in her hands easy.
And when you say you're really bad at pulling out the phone, is that a conscious decision, or it's just not interesting to you?
Yeah.
I mean, are you trying to resist and go, I want to record this in a different way in my brain or with written words? Or
I think it's probably a combination of both. It's really intentional. I've never been good at it. I don't think it, for some reason, like, I feel like being on my phone, I really feel it being pretty rubbish on my brain. And I don't know if I'm more conscious of that than most people, just maybe more sensitive to it than most people, but I hate it. So then as a result, I am way more conscious of being off it. So like, I'm absolutely, I don't know. I kind of get the mick taken out of me a bit, which is probably fair enough, but I'm happy with the way I live, keeping off the phone.
And the fact that you chose to read a magazine under a tree instead of scroll your phone, most people in this park who are sitting on their own are scrolling their phones. Yeah. It's kind of like it's an addiction we all give into. Going back to the Lyme's disease, have you had it before?
No.
And do you know much about it?
I know a bit more about it than I did a month ago, but yeah.
The reason I ask is I know a couple of people who've got it, and it's a complicated disease to get they have a very strong view that the medical profession doesn't take it seriously. One of them's quite badly affected by it. What's your view on it? Are you just like, it's another thing, I'll get rid of it, take the pills, job done? Or is there more to it, this particular disease?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I've not got like a particularly strong view on it. I know that there's obviously like it's a weird disease in that some people have really long-term effects, and they can be subtle and they can be chronic. But what I've read online is it sounds like most people, if caught early enough, can make a full recovery from it. So I'm hoping I'm one of those people. I'm probably like, it's a 3-week course of antibiotics. I'm about a week and a half in, maybe, just a week and a half, 2 weeks in. I'm just kind of hoping that by the time this is done, I'll be cleared up.
If you got it in Scotland, you were probably stomping through the heather on a hillside somewhere, and it was a tick bite. Is that right?
Yeah. So I was bikepacking in the Outer Hebrides for a couple of weeks with my family actually. So it's like 2 weeks of just camping, cycling. And I was checking for ticks, but I didn't see any. I got caught actually on the chest, weirdly enough. So I reckon when I was camping, it must have just crept in, unfortunately. So I feel like I didn't really get bit that much. So the one that did get me clearly did a good job.
And the camping, cycling combination, to some people that sound like a pretty hardcore holiday.
Yeah.
How was it in terms of physically? How was it, and is it a regular thing that you go on holiday with your family?
Yeah, so I do try and go on holiday with my family, like most years. The driver behind this is my mum is actually like a crazy, like cyclist, exercise fanatic. And so she managed to convince my dad, and I was like, well, if my dad's going to do this trip, I've definitely got to do it. And I quite like cycling.
For his
myself.
support?
Yeah, literally, if I'm just a support team.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. We've never done a holiday like that before, actually, as a family. We do camp a lot, but usually it's just like in Cornwall or stuff. So it was a real adventure. We were planning it for like 18 months. And so we managed to do it successfully, weren't really any injuries. And yeah, it was actually such an adventure, like a unique holiday.
Is it also, I mean, referring back to what we were saying about a group holiday doing different things to take things forward, is it the same with a family holiday, that if you do a different kind of holiday with your family, you take the family relationship forward and you add another layer of being together instead of just meeting up for a Sunday lunch kind of thing?
No, I definitely agree with that. But I think there's with family, there's the added dynamic of you actually trying to reconnect, because obviously you live together for like and knew each other like entirely and very intensely during, especially my being a teenager and whatever. So with a family, it is that element of progressing the relationship, but it's also a sense of, I think, like reconnecting what you had, as well as actually just adjusting the dynamic. Because it's like most of the time we spent together, I was a kid, my siblings were kids, and my parents are the adults who decide what we do. Now we're all in our 20s, and like my parents are, well, one of them's retired. Like the dynamics change. We're all adults here with our own individual and equally valid opinions, and that causes tensions, as it should, and working through them is an important part of probably these holidays, and we did a bit of that, I suppose.
It's tricky with families, isn't it, because it's essentially quite a conservative social structure, the family. And I remember when I was younger and I came back from doing my own thing or being independent, and I would verbally try and say to my family, I've changed and the dynamic has changed, and they would kind of go, yeah, but it wouldn't. And it wasn't like it was a big issue, but families are kind of inflexible in their structure. So that adjustment is a kind of gradual and partial thing.
Yeah, agreed. I think there's like an assumed familiarity, like they've raised me, they chose to have me. So I think there is a weird sense of like, of course I have the right to know all of these things about your lives and whatever. And yeah, I think it is a hard one to navigate. I think it must be tough for parents, as kids, like we change, we come to our own views, and like we are different people, fundamentally different people to when we left. Like I imagine my parents don't think I'm all that different to when I left the house at 18, but I consider myself an entirely different person. And that's a hard one to communicate, because there's a lot of life that's been lived outside of their watchful eye, I suppose.
I think also they'll always there'd always be a little bit of worry as a parent for all the children that they have, because they always think, are they happy? Are they doing the best they can? There's that old phrase, you're as happy as your unhappiest child. You seem to be a pretty happy, kind of balanced kind of person, so I doubt they worry about you too much. Do you think they worry about you?
I'm sure they worry about me plenty. No, I'm sure they do. I mean, that's a good question. I've never really thought about whether they worry about me at all, to be honest. I'm sure they've got plenty enough worries of their own.
Where do you come in the siblings? Are you at the bottom?
Oldest.
You're the oldest.
Yeah,
well, they probably don't worry about you.
Yeah.
Because you're probably the sensible one.
Yes, my sister's still living at home, and my brother is living in Bristol. So, do they worry about me? I feel like maybe they do. I think they probably don't worry about me taking care of myself, because I think I'd like to think they'd know I can do that. But maybe they do worry about, where my head's at. Am I don't know. I don't know what they worry about. To us, it's really thrown me.
Well, but there probably isn't an answer.
Yeah.
As I'm just assuming. Okay, so this is a generalisation, but tell me what you think. As the oldest child, in the whole of your childhood, your parents probably put more responsibility on you than they did your siblings. As in, look after the other two while we make tea. As simple as that. Do you feel that that's very much been part of your role? Is you've always had a responsibility to your siblings as you've been growing up? They haven't had a responsibility to you, but you've had a responsibility for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think growing up as an older sibling, you do kind of take on more responsibility, and I also think you get the worst parents. I think you've got them. I'm the trial run. I'm the first draft.
They probably do more parenting with you.
True. So I dealt with them when I think they were a bit stressed and a bit uptight, and I think my siblings got progressively more relaxed parents from my hard work.
They got the easy. Yeah. You take the responsibility for their easy run.
Oh, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Every kind of. I would fight hard for later bedtimes and for more time going out. And my siblings just get it automatically. They're
yes, because they'd see what you get and they'd just up it a bit.
Yeah, they get it. They get it straight away. This is a bit random, but when I was younger, there was this small little Nintendo console I wanted. And I remember harassing them for a year to get it. And I saved up all my money. My pocket money was £1 a week, so I saved up about £52. And I said,
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot of money for me then, and I saved it up. And I gave it to them and said, okay, for my birthday, take this £52. Whatever money you're going to put towards getting me a present, can you get me this console? And they were umming and ahhing about it because they weren't sure. And then they got it, and I was buzzing with it. I took the money, whatever, and it was fantastic. Really happy. And then 2 months later, my brother had expressed no interest, but he asked for one, and he got one straight away.
Oh,
and the crazy thing,
that burns.
And he gave no money towards it.
What?
So then I pulled them up on it a few months later, and they reimbursed me the £52. So actually, I ended up getting all that money back.
Oh, blimey! I can see the injustice there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you and your brother? Was one of the benefits though that you could play with each other because you each had a console?
Yeah, it was, and it's just everyone was using mine, which obviously was nice and was fun. But for long car rides, everyone wants their own, and. Yeah, so that changed.
The trials and tribulations of being the eldest.
I tell you, it's a hard job. It is a real hard job. Those younger siblings don't know how easy they've got it.
Well, I have to admit that I'm the youngest
of
4,
okay.
So I'm at the other end, and I know how easy it is.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say, what challenges do you have then, as the youngest?
I don't have any challenges. According to my siblings, they all think I've had the easy life and have been spoiled rotten, and they're probably right. It's just the nature of things.
And do you think your parents worry about you more?
When they're both gone now, but when they were alive, I don't think so. I don't think my parents worried about us too much. Interestingly, the other day I was talking to someone who had her and her siblings have actually grown much further apart as adults.
Yeah.
As kids, they were very unified. Then as adults, they've completely gone in different directions and have lost their unity. I wonder if that's also a natural thing or an unnatural thing. Do you think that you're further apart from your siblings?
I think That's a tricky one. I think, in some senses, yes, but I think I've got closer with my siblings. I get on better with my siblings now, more than I ever have done before. But then I think you could also make a strong case that we aren't as close because we just don't spend the amount of time. But I think, so the age gaps are like, my brother's 3 years younger than me, my sister's 5 years younger than me. And so like, whilst we may have been close in terms of living together, actually I don't think I think our relationship wasn't as strong because it was just more out of convenience rather than choice. And truthfully, like, I obviously found them quite frustrating, as obviously, that's
in brackets annoying.
Yeah, and very annoying. And they know that. And I'm sure I was a terrible authoritarian older brother who they couldn't stand either. But yeah, as adults, it's really fun just having that kind of more friendship type relationship with them rather than just this kind of older, younger sibling kind of power dynamic sort of relationship. So I think it's a yes and no to answer your question. It's like I feel closer to them because I feel like I can hang out with them and talk to them more openly and as kind of peers. But then at the same time, I spend a lot of time with them.
The thing that you're reading, what have you chosen to read in that magazine? What made you turn to that article?
It's the New Statesman.
The New Statesman is a kind of news magazine commentary thing, which is left of centre.
Yeah, left of centre. It's kind of they've got a really good variety of people that contribute. Like they've got some people that are definitely kind of not left wing. And like John Grayson. So John Grayson's a really interesting voice who's written some good books. And then you've also got like definitely some left-leaning people as well. So I find it's quite a variety. So sometimes the articles contradict each other. Kind of going back to the phone conversation, I actually like to read all my news manually. I don't like to use the apps.
Okay, that's it. So you like a book or a magazine, something paper in your hand. You're not right. Into digital reading. Right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Because I think. So for instance, for this, I'll actually read it cover to cover. I won't necessarily. Well, I won't really pick and choose articles, because I find that way more tempting if I'm on the apps looking for news. So I read it kind of cover to cover, and I prefer taking it in that way because one, I can reflect on it more, and I see it more as an activity rather than as to kill 5 minutes whilst I know I'm waiting for an ad from Netflix, something like that.
And you're having it distilled through commentary and columnists, so you're interested in how it's distilled, I'm assuming. And do you sometimes read an article and disagree with it as you're reading it, but you still continue to the end because you want to kind of formulate a response in your own mind? Oh yeah,
the ones I disagree with I have to read to the end because I need to make sure I've taken in the whole argument before I confidently refute it. But yeah, no, I like to. I think it's interesting because I like to hear other people's reflections, and I think more often than it's not so much I disagree a lot of the time. It's usually more that like I think they've lost me along the way of their points. Like they're in their kind of series of points, they've taken liberties in deducting one thing from another, and I'm like, I'm still caught up at that point, so I can't go with you on this in this narrative you've constructed.
Do you ever read books also?
Yeah, I love reading. I'm a big reader.
Right. So anything on the written word.
Yeah. I'm not saying I've read everything, but I like reading a lot. It's a big pastime.
And what is it? Reading is a singular activity. It's something you do on your own.
Yeah.
You can do it in anywhere and any time you like. But it's something you're doing and taking in on an individual basis. Is there any way in which you then use that knowledge and those thoughts in a more kind of social or group context?
Oh yeah. I love chewing over ideas in a social context. Maybe that's not what everyone else wants to talk about, but it's something I really enjoy doing, and it's nice to have those conversations from a semi-informed standpoint rather than I feel like it's quite tempting to chat about news, chat about current affairs, just from kind of like a instinctual, just kind of what feels like the trendy opinion of the time to say, and I feel like I like to try and challenge myself just to understand the views I'm saying or the views I'm challenging in social conversation.
And I suppose in a way the complaint about social media often is people just giving an initial gut reaction is what their comment is what their feeling is. They read something, they see something and they immediately go, this is what I think in response. But you're talking about a slightly more structured kind of genning up of information and also challenge.
Yeah.
You don't mind being challenged?
No. I think it's good for me. Definitely really good for me. I think I'm very much aware that you can go on social media and I'm aware that I'm collecting views just by seeing headlines and seeing what my friends are saying, even if I've not necessarily independently come to those conclusions. I'm like, okay, my friends have come to this conclusion about this new hot topic in the world. I've implicitly, subconsciously just come to the same one. And actually, part of that process is kind of natural, and I can't really fight it because I think that's just kind of how social groups work. But at the same time, I think it's still good to challenge it and to make sure I am still thinking somewhat independently about it.
Does being an independent thinker mean quite a lot to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think being independent is quite a big driving psychological trait probably of mine. For sure. Yeah.
Does your work reflect that?
Well, I'm just about to change jobs.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
Change is always a positive thing.
Change is mostly always positive. Yeah. So I think so. I don't know if it. So I like working sustainability, and that feels maybe that is independent, but also that you could just say it's following a bit of a trend there, maybe.
But it's something you believe in. You can't work in sustainability and not care about it, I'm assuming.
I'd like to think so, but I've met some people that may challenge that. But no, largely speaking, you meet a really the demographic of people that are in that kind of industry are people that care and people that have come to conclusions about the world and the state of the environment, particularly that are, that have led them to move to work and to sacrifice their career, direct their career on a path that hopefully improves things.
And the change has been brought about by what? Is it just a practical consideration? Are you bettering yourself? Are you moving forward, or are you just moving sideways? How has the change been seen by you in your work up till now?
So, I think personally, my take is I've not been working crazy. I'm still relatively early in my career, but I think sustainability has come clear to me as quite a strange thing to work in because it's really not been worked out. And there's lots of jobs that come under the category of sustainability that really have nothing to do with making the world more sustainable or a better place at all. And so I'm I'm moving from the private sector to the public sector. So my experience is I thought coming out of uni, after finishing my masters, that the private sector was where I wanted to be. I felt like that's where the action needed to happen. So exploring that in a consultancy kind of capacity, I thought, okay, let's see if we can help these businesses decarbonise. And I truthfully, I don't want to write it off, but from my experience, I thought I don't see the change and the infrastructure required for businesses to really act. I think actually, personally, I believe the public sector or governments have put too much of solving the climate crisis onto private businesses.
Almost like palming it off.
Yeah, 100% agree. I personally believe. So there's this really great publication done by the Commonwealth. They do these quarterly articles called Breakdown. There's all these essays and articles written by academics and whatnot in the kind of climate space. And I read a really good one. I can't remember the author now, about how the private sector and their approach to dealing with the environment is just flawed, and ESG is just really flawed deeply, and that's nothing
ESG.
new. Yeah, so it's environmental, social, and governance. So it's if you're a big finance institute, ESG will mean a lot to you, and it's us trying to do the socially impactful thing. So you might have if you have a pension, you might have an ESG option, which is the environmentally good, socially good option.
Right, so you can invest in something which is making the world more sustainable or whatever.
Exactly, and it's not, and so it seems all good, and you kind of think, oh great, so we'll just all do that and the world will get a better place. But businesses ultimately need to make money, and so you actually have shareholders will take potentially their pension providers or their investment managers to court because they're not pursuing profits. It's their responsibility.
They actually take them to court?
Yeah, it's American.
Oh, wow.
So I believe it's BlackRock. BlackRock is the American company that, as of a couple of years ago, had the most money invested into an ESG portfolio. And I put that in air quotes.
So that makes them sound like a good company.
So you think,
who's right, they're all positive.
Billions of pounds into this, great, they're making the world a better place. But yeah, I believe a series of their shareholders, kind of in the wake of the Trump administration, have took them to court saying, look, doing this at the expense of profit is actually neglecting your duty to us as shareholders and you as CEO. So, and this is what I mean when I say that the corporate, so the corporate structure of needing to make profit is itself a limiting thing on their ability to engage with the climate crisis. And it's complicated and it's tricky, and I'm not necessarily calling for an out revolution, but for me as a consultant, seeing those limitations makes me think, I kind of want to go further upstream and go into the policy side and explore what that looks like as I continue this kind of strange career of sustainability.
So you're going into the public sector, which kind of puts you in the advocacy role or delivery role, one of the two. And you're young enough to still change the world?
Well, I say is that you grow up wanting to change the world, and in the end the world changed you. I'm probably halfway between wanting to change the world and the world changing me. We'll see which one wins. But yeah, no, I've got no sense of like, illusion that I don't think I'm going to change the world, but I feel on principle I want to try and do something that's at least better than I could do otherwise, and that's not coming from any kind of like saviour complex or grand ideas of self-improvement. It's just like I've got time, I've got energy, and I've got capacity to work, and I may as well do something that's somewhat positive.
Sustainability is kind of pushing against the tide. The modern lives that we lead on a daily basis are kind of going the other way in terms of sustainability generally. Do you feel that you are positive at your age and stage, and given the knowledge that you have, do you feel you're positive about the future? Do you feel that you're worried about the future?
Yeah, I definitely got worried. Climate change is baked in, so it's going to happen. I think the biggest thing that I would want to dispel is that we've got this kind of notion of a climate apocalypse, and the idea that climate change is either going to happen or not going to happen. And if it does happen, that's bad, and if it doesn't happen, which we hope, that's good. But the reality is it's happening, and it's more of a spectrum of consequences rather than like a binary it is or isn't happening. And so for me, every action or every policy step taken by a company is just moving us down the scale of how severe it's going to be, and ultimately how much suffering we're going to inflict on all living creatures on this planet. So for me, no action is wasted. Every intention is still useful. Obviously, some people's intentions and some people's actions are going to have more impact. But nonetheless, I believe all of them are meaningful, and they help us. If they can help reduce suffering, even on a small scale, then for me that's ultimately worth doing, right?